Actually, right now, though, we have Curtis Danburg on the line. So you ready to talk some baseball?
Oh, my God. Absolutely.
Curtis Danburg from the Cleveland Guardians. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining Paul and myself. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for having me, Seth. And Rado, it's good to see you.
Good to see you, too. Oh, my God, Curtis.
Spring training, I think of all those memories we had at Beefo Brady's down in Winter Haven. So it's good. I know
somebody sent me a photo of Old Shana Lakes Park, and all the memories come rushing back. Absolutely. Those are great times. Hey, and congratulations with you because, my God, you've been with the organization for, 20 years now?
This will be my 28th.
Wow. Holy cow.
Yeah. It's crazy. Goes fast.
Yeah.
We haven't had a chance to talk, actually, and I'm glad that Paul's here for it since, Triv unfortunately passed. I saw you at an event for another radio's 92.3, I think it was, down in the flats, and it was just after I got home from the hospital. I was still in a wheelchair, still had long hair, and I ran into you down there, and it was the first time I'd seen you since all that happened to me and happened with Triv, and so we unfortunately ran into each other a few weeks back at John Adams' wake, but it was good to see you, and I'm again glad to see you tonight. But it's been a crazy year. It really has.
That's an understatement. Definitely saddened by the loss of John. He battled for the past 3 years, and certainly a huge loss for the community and certainly for our organization.
You guys did a great job, though. You guys did a great job honoring John, and I think the wake was very nice, and it was really cool how it was set up with like pictures of him everywhere, and there was actually a picture of him and Triv together.
There was.
It was very cool.
He was a part of our family. I mean, 50 years within one organization and supporting us all those cold weather April, May games, and so a tremendous way for us to kind of pay tribute to him to be involved.
Well, if Guinness Book of World Records has a category for somebody who was the most photographed, I want to throw John Adams' name in there. Because when John passed, everybody that I knew put on every level of social media their photo with John Adams. It was incredible.
The joke was you either had a Bob Feller photograph or an image with John Adams. Right?
It's crazy, though, how we lost two people that loved baseball so much like Triv and John. I mean, Triv loved baseball as much as anybody I've ever met in my entire life. You know that, Paul. I mean,
absolutely.
And, he would love to see how well this team has been doing. And it's sad. It really is. So.
And then think of opening day. I mean, Triv was the first one always to bring John. He wanted to be a part of the show every year. That was part of the tradition.
And we'd get there real early to set up. I even brought my grill. Thanks for letting me grill those dogs and burgers and stuff, Curtis.
They were good.
Yeah, we set it up. John was always there, first to go, glad to be part of the ambiance. Of course, he was the ambiance of the game. He was happy that Triv asked them, but he was so humble he didn't realize how important he was to the whole opening day atmosphere, him being himself. But we did those year after year after year. I was just telling somebody, Curtis, about Triv was very appreciative of Bart Swain's efforts. Of course, Bart's position in the organization was helping set up the interviews with the players for people like Trevisano. And one day Triv said, find out what Bart drinks and get him like 24 bottles of whatever his favorite, flavor is. And we did that. And I remember you helping me get it up to Bart's office the very first year before he knew that we were doing it. But after that, it was like one of those nice opening day, rounding out the day wrap-ups with the gift that Triv would get Bart and the whole crew for helping us get the interviews. That was just one of those memories of opening day that I'm going to take on, And the funny thing is, Triv never paid me back for that beer. I just never did, not once.
And I don't know.
He would always call and say, hey, Curtis and Bart, line me up. So what do you got for me? I was like, we're going to do the same thing we always do for you, Triv. Don't worry.
Oh, yeah. But you got us the best. Like Omar Vizquel didn't do a whole lot of interviews for everybody else. And Triv and Omar hated each other. But Omar still did that interview because you and Bart were doing your thing, man. You were setting up Triv. And those are good interviews, too. They were very professional, both of those guys. I was surprised.
And I don't know how you felt, Paul, but I was always in that uncomfortable position of dealing with Triv saying, call Curtis, call Antonetti, get him on the phone. Well, call Chernoff, call Shapiro.
Well, actually, that was Marty Allen's job.
Yeah, well, that was my job too. And
Seth took it over too.
Yeah, that's what my job. Call him, get him on the phone. And I felt so bad always having to bother somebody. At one point, I can't remember what I was talking about. I was talking with Antonetti about something on the show, and Antonetti told me to jump off a bridge. And I felt honored that I was almost on the status of Triv, annoying him so much that he told me to jump off a bridge. But it was always a pleasure talking to everybody in the organization. You guys have always been so accommodating, and that's why I appreciate you coming on tonight too.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
So you're in Arizona. What's the weather like?
The weather's just as bad as it is in Cleveland.
I don't know about
that. I heard that.
We had an ice storm today.
We had to pretty much cancel all our practice today. A couple of the pitchers did their side work, but we had to be in the cages. We had like 50 to 60 mile per hour winds, and we're not going to see 70 degrees for at least the next 2 weeks. So if we're trying to get our work in, I think it's going to be warmer in Cleveland tomorrow than it is in Arizona. So
how's everybody doing? Much. How's everybody doing? We saw a couple of the top prospects are a little bit banged up, but guys that may not have seen, stuff up here this year, but how's everybody feeling so far?
Good. I think physicals went well, and we had our big team meeting yesterday, except for Tito chipping his tooth and having to deal with the dentist yesterday afternoon. There's always something going on, but we had a lot of meetings today, and we're getting ready for game 1 on Saturday.
Well, that's what I thought was funny is I'm watching the news this morning, and things are going at least okay when their top story about the Guardians is that Tito chipped a tooth and he spilled his coffee. And I was like, all right, well,
we'll take that.
I'll take that over, somebody threw his shoulder out or something.
Right.
So, that was good to hear.
Hey, tell Tito it's a long season, so we could withstand a little injury like that.
He knows the game.
I wanted to say that how is this spring now? It's one of those springs where the organizations have to deal with the preparation for the World Baseball Classic. How does that and the weather give you guys a little bit of concern?
We had to start a little bit earlier. A lot of those guys came in early that are participating. Luckily for us, a lot of our big guys are not participating. So Jose Ramirez sitting out. We really have of regulars, Andres Jimenez, Cal Quantrill, and Bo Naylor are kind of the big names that are participating. Then a bunch of our minor league players. So it does change the dynamic of getting work done, and especially those guys kind of ramping things up. And then the weather doesn't make it easy. Like we have the routine to get people ramped up and ready to go. And when you kind of lose a day, that does hurt.
Well, just as long as it doesn't lead to any injuries, because I guess that's what most of spring training is for, is to get the guys in physical shape, lengthen their arms out for the pitchers, make sure the guys' hamstrings are nice and loose, because it is such a long season. But it's the injuries. That's the one thing, that's the most important part, which is why strength and conditioning, they need to get paid a little bit more. That's just one man's opinion.
And you both know things have changed a lot. I mean, spring training back in the day was guys would work in the offseason and do a job because they weren't getting paid a lot, and you show up to get in shape. Well, I tell you what, these guys are in shape and ready to go because it is their full-time job. Pretty much at least 11 and a half months of the year, they're training. So to see how they came in a condition, they're ready to go. But we need to keep them healthy and, like you said, be ready for opening day out in Seattle.
What's the renovations and everything looking like at the ballpark?
So we will not start those until the end of this season.
Oh, okay.
We'll begin construction. We're finishing our planning. Obviously, we've announced what projects are going to be, but we'll start hopefully in November after a World Series victory and parade. And then we will have a few projects done before 24, and then everything will be done prior to the 25 season.
Anything new for this season that people could look for? What are they looking for at the ballpark this year?
No, I think I'm sure we'll have a couple new food and beverage wrinkles that we'll roll out for our fans prior to opening day. But as far as concrete, tangible changes to the ballpark, no, because we're going to be waiting until after this season.
That's what I always hated about my job is not only was I in charge of calling you, but I also then was in charge of sitting back at the station running everything. And so I never got to go out and enjoy all the food. I'd be sitting there while Triv and Glenn or Triv and Carmen or whoever is sitting there chowing down, eating all the new good stuff. And I'm sitting in the studio just watching the sunshine outside.
Seth,
Brado can empathize with you.
Yeah. No, I was the guy that was there, but Seth, you you needed to learn from the master, Marty Allen. He had an intern go get the stuff where I was and brought it back to the studio, so Big Daddy never missed a meal.
Yeah, I guess that's what I should have done, but I didn't do that. But yeah, I was always so
Hey, Curtis.
Opening day, listening to everybody down there and me sitting back there, it was kind of sad. But what, Paul?
Curtis, I wanted you to try to get some updates for the ballpark this year, okay? I want you to try to get 2 leather recliners like the one I'm in right now reclining. See if you can get those in section 461, row E, seats 9 and 10. That's all I need.
Besides that recliner, we might need a few more seats than just seats 9 and 10 to take
then
that up.
Whatever. My wife doesn't need one. Just get one for me.
We have Wayside Furniture. We have recliners just like that we use for our fireworks nights down on the field. So,
big bonus.
They're already in the ballpark. We just need to convert them to your section.
I'm looking forward to the changes to the ballpark because you guys addressed the lower level, and now these changes are going to the upper level. Well, Curtis, I don't know if I told you this since the last time we had talked, casually, but I've started to do this minor league baseball pilgrimage thing. Every year I go and I visit a few ballparks. My wife and I are up to 26 minor league ballparks that we visited.
That's so incredible.
It's nice. I mean, people, they do this where they go to major league parks, but I'm on an economic income. You know what I mean? I go to Cleveland, to Progressive Field. That's my major league park. But I try to visit as many minor league parks as I can to take in the ambiance. And I tell you what, baseball is a great sport. There's a lot of talent in the minor leagues, especially in our organization, going to Lake County and Columbus and Akron. Other minor league teams, they go all out to make it a really good experience for the person that's going to watch baseball. And Cleveland is right on board with that. You guys are, keeping up with a ballpark that I can't believe that I'm going to say is one of the oldest in the league now, when I remember when they broke ground for it. But you guys have to make changes to stay relevant and to keep people interested with more than just great baseball.
That's the key. And, you have to have that fan experience. And like you said, Paul, we haven't touched the upper deck since the ballpark opened in '94. So to enhance that experience for all those fans that do sit up there was very important in this next iteration of renovations.
I think that where they were picked on the ends, because those were the most neglected parts, and now to put a little bit of life over there that'll spread it out. It'll just make the whole ballpark an atmosphere for great baseball. I think it's a great idea.
I was actually a senior in high school in '94, cutting school at Ignatius to go to see the opening day.
That's a good memory right there.
It is, absolutely is. We have people texting on the show. Curtis, what is your take on the new rule changes? Specifically, is it really necessary to speed up the game? Part of baseball's charm was always a day at the park.
I do think it's necessary. I think to engage new fans, to create a Christmas, the game that we loved and grew up in the 80s and early 90s, they had a better pace of play. We need to bring that back. We need more action. It can't just be strikeouts and home runs. We need the action that's going to happen. And I think increasing the size of the bases, I think having the pitch clock, all those things, it's worked in minor league baseball. To your point, Paul, that you probably saw that last couple of years. Shaving off 20 to 30 minutes a game, I think is going to help get maybe more people involved. So I'm excited to see how it impacts us at the big league level.
What is the point of the big bases? They do. I mean, I've seen so many people say they look like pizza boxes.
They do, but two reasons. Number one, preserve and stay away from injuries for those collisions at first base, especially. And then secondly, you hopefully going to encourage more base stealing. So there's more action and more fun, for the fans to get involved in. And again, past couple of years, it's either been home runs or strikeouts. We need more action. We need more. And that's with the shift going away, more balls to the infield. That singles have gone away that should have been doubles and vice versa because that right field person. So Jose Ramirez, Josh Bell, Josh Naylor, hopefully going to get more singles instead of a ground out 4-3 out in right field.
But is it the shift? I mean, I know that a lot of people don't like it, and I don't think Triv is a big fan of the shift either. But isn't it part of strategy? If you're a good ball player, you should be able to hit it the other way, bunt. I mean, some of the nuances of baseball go away when you take away strategy like that.
No, you're right. And I think Tito always kind of pushes against some of the, especially the bullpen rule where you had to face three batters.
Yeah.
He didn't like that because it did take away the strategy piece. And but I think he's very supportive of this. He knows the need to get some crispness back in the game.
We talked about the Guardians actually the other night on Monday Night Show for the entire couple hours, and people were calling in with questions, and they want to know: are they still trying out the whole robot balls and strike stuff in the minor leagues? Is that something we could see in the majors at some point, or is that not? What do you think?
They are testing it out in the minors, and they're doing two things. Number one, it's completely all-in automatic. You still have the umpire back there, but the computer screen saying, "Hey, it's a ball, it's a strike." The other thing they're testing out is doing a challenge system. So a batter has a certain amount of challenges. So it's not every single pitch, but hey, if it's a called third strike and the batter thinks it was a ball, you can challenge a few, I think, per inning. But they're tweaking that. I think that I can see that being more realistic than going all in on balls and strikes being all automated.
I saw that in Charlotte when I went to a game in Charlotte at the AAA level. They had that in place where the batter gave the signal to the ump, and they went right to the big board, right on the scoreboard. There was what you used to seeing on TV, where the location of the ball was. It was quick. It was didn't stop and slow the game down like NBA and NFL does with their replay. It was just a quick. Let's go to the scoreboard, and the umpire was right. Let's get back to the game. Yeah, when I saw that in Charlotte, I thought if that's coming to the major leagues, that's a nice thing. You want to get every call right, and this way you're also auditing the umpires. And when I saw it in Charlotte, it was pretty good. I was surprised.
But that would have helped us in '95 with Brinkman behind the plate, calling everything a ball and everything is,
oh my God,
against the Braves. You'll remember that.
I was in such a good mood, and then Danburg brings up that thing. Oh, Curtis, I thought that we talk not of that anymore. We know about it. Everybody knows about it. We don't talk about it anymore. Okay, come on, man.
How is spring training in Arizona different than Winter Haven? Paul, you had a great time down in Winter Haven. I never got to go to any of these spring training things.
Winter Haven was a dump. It was a dump. Curtis has been there. You see,
nice.
What's that?
So, Rado's correct. Winter Haven, that facility was. We were supposed to be there a couple of years. We ended up staying there. I think 15 years.
Yeah.
So the facilities out here are state of the art. Number one, but number two, really the travel. It's a dynamic change where your longest trip out here is 40 to 45 minutes. Where in Florida, from Winter Haven, you leave at 6 a.m, drive 2.5 hours to Fort Myers, play a game, and get back on you know how traffic is down there. You wouldn't get home till 8 or 9 o'clock. So you've got these big league $1 million ball players on these buses. This is so much better from a baseball standpoint. From a fan standpoint, being able to drive down to Florida was certainly a game changer for a lot of our fans, which it is tough to make that trip via car out to AZ.
I know we had Peter Knabb on the other day. The guy
He's making the trip.
He is. He went to 129 games or something like that last year, and his goal is to do 162 this year. That's passion for the game, I'll tell you that. He's an inspiration. He's a good guy.
He really is. I think inspiration is a good word, Seth, because he's doing that solo on his own. And I was blown away last year with him getting 120 plus games, and now he's coming out to spring training and wants to do a $162. It's really impressive.
And I wanted to give it up to you guys too. We had a lot of people texting me the other night saying you guys did a great job. I mean, you got to throw out the first pitch. You got to meet everybody. You got to, I think he was interviewing Tom Hamilton, I think this week. And so you guys, man, it's really cool what you guys have done for him.
It was fun to see the players' reactions to meeting Peter. Because as I was introducing, I was like, do you realize he was at the clinch, he was at 120 plus games, and they were blown away by that. So I think creating that connection was really important for us, the players, and certainly for Peter himself.
Somebody texted in wishing the Guards were in Florida. Crowds were bigger in Florida than Arizona.
It's true. Like I said, it's definitely more convenient, for the fans to get down to Florida versus AZ.
Well, they have a patch for John Adams. You guys have done a lot for John. So
we have, but we are talking about different ways to pay tribute to him this upcoming season. So announcement will be coming closer to the opening day about what we plan to do, but we do plan to do a few things.
So, and I noticed that last year that you had a drum banging on the scoreboard at the appropriate time in the game to get the fans involved in the game. Is that going to continue?
That's going to continue. And again, that's John's audio. Back about 5-6 years ago, we taped his drum audio that we have in our scoreboard system, which nobody could predict in the future. But with COVID, we played it that year. And obviously, he hasn't been back to the ballpark since 19. So we've been using that audio, and we'll continue to do that.
I think that's awesome.
What's the schedule look like for spring training? We got the first game you said on Saturday?
First game on Saturday. We always play the Reds 3 times in spring. We play them the first game, we play them on St. Patty's Day, and we play them to end this exhibition season out here in the Cactus League. So excited to get baseball going here pretty soon.
Home opener sold out?
We're working on it. We're ahead of where we've been the past couple of years, so demand's been good. We're selling about 1,000 tickets per game, and we're under 10,000 now. So if you still want to attend on April 7th against the Mariners, be sure to get your tickets now.
Well, I'm excited. I'm excited for this upcoming season. I told you, last 4 times I've tried to take my daughter to a game, it has been rained out. Last game we went to, we had club seats, great seats. We're in line to get food. The players are on the field starting to warm up, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a storm comes, and it didn't stop raining for 4 hours. We get into the car, and they say, all right, we're going to start playing baseball in 20 minutes. You got to be kidding me. So I'm going to make it to a good weather game this year and see you guys play. So I'm looking forward.
Check the forecast, see the sun. We had a rough year last year. We had 10 rainouts at home. We had 2 postponed games on the road, not counting the 2 in New York during the division series. So we had our league meetings, and they stood up there and said, hey, we only had 48 cancellations all year. But 12 of the 48 were the Cleveland Guardians. So.
That's crazy. Hey, as I had pointed out before, I'm a proud quarter package ticket season holder with Mondays and Wednesdays. And I just wanted to say that I was really surprised how affordable those packages are. That if anybody wants to buy Cleveland Guardians tickets, and they want to go, you even have 6-packs where you can go to 6 games. That I'm happy to say that in a major league ballpark, you still have some affordable tickets. Good seats too.
Yeah, if you're value, looking for that value, we have it. So especially early in the season, during the week. But even like you said, the 6-packs are a tremendous value. 6 games. Before the holidays, they were as low as $70. Usually they're like 6 for under 99. But again, tremendous value. The promotions we're going to be rolling out this year, a lot of new things. We've got a Hawaiian shirt giveaway. We've got a Jose Ramirez a bucket hat. It's kind of a reversible bucket cap. We're going to do mini gold gloves, and it's going to be a mystery. So we had 4 gold glovers. You might get one of the 4 when you come to the game. So having a little fun along the way.
That's awesome. Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. I'm looking forward.
Yeah, good promotions too. Good promotions.
Fireworks.
Good times at the ballpark. I love baseball. And I want to point out that by going to minor league ballparks, I've been doing that probably since 2019. Just before COVID, we went through Pennsylvania and New York, and then we went to North Carolina, and then we went west. But we saw a lot of baseball. My wife pointed out that the game is a little bit different in the minor leagues because the players are hungry. That seems they run out everything. They run through a wall for a fly ball. And I said to her, I was like, I think that's what I like about the Guardians. The guys are still young. They come up from the minor leagues, and they're playing like minor league type of baseball that the rest of the major leagues wasn't used to. And I think that's why we surprised them with leading the league in infield hits. They were playing like minor leaguers, and they were enjoying it. It was a good brand of baseball to watch.
We had a lot of fun.
A lot of fun.
Well, Curtis, I thank you for coming on tonight. I really
it's been a pleasure. Appreciate you asking, and good to have both of you on the horn, or in this case, on the laptop.
Yeah, see, it's different now. It's a little bit different than, it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Get a little video action, a little something.
I'm usually sleeping by now, but I'm not even tired.
Your next level, Seth.
Not yet, but we're trying. But thank you. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. We're looking forward to the season.
Look forward to it. Seeing you at the ballpark. Go Guards.
All right, thanks.
Go Guards.